mean a lot. Five's a big part of us. He's a huge part of us, and to me, he's a bell cow. He's somebody that, he's a tone setter, he's a catalyst. So there's a place for him. There's a place for him here. So there'll be a place for him in this game. So it's going to be good to get him back.
So there's Dan Campbell talking about David Montgomery, being a bell cow, being a tone setter, being a guy that has a place in this game. And there, you see him have a little coy smile at the end of it when he said there's a place for him here. There's a place for him in this game. So I think David Montgomery is going to be business as usual, honestly. The way he said that, I mean, he knows there's a place for him because he knows that Washington Commanders' run defense is dog shit. So if you can get David Montgomery going, like I said, that first drive, can you imagine, just like they did with Anzalone, David Montgomery is going to be the last player to get announced in the pregame, and Ford Field's going to erupt.
They know what they're doing.
David Montgomery goes out there. First drive has been David Montgomery's drive all year. He's just chipping away. Boom, 6 yards. Boom, 10 yards, 6 yards, 5 yards. That place is going to be so loud. That place is going to go crazy. And David Montgomery is more than just a power back for the Detroit Lions. He means so much for this team as a leader, as the heart and soul of that running back room, as a veteran in that offense, as a power back and an elusive back. Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't think anybody would question, is the better between the two backs. But David Montgomery means so much for these guys going forward. I expect them to go out there. They're going to be playing hard. That offensive line is going to be blocking harder because they know they got Monty back there. They're trying to give him a good lift in his first game back.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I had the conversation with Lucas this offseason, just heading into it, and we're just kind of not arguing, but he's and Gibbs is doing so, as you said, probably the better of the two. But he should be getting more snaps, more carries, give him the ball. I'm like, listen, brother. Like, Demo has a role in this offense, and it's to set the tone. It's to get that initial punch in the mouth out of the way and let them know, like, this is the type of game we're going to be here. And then you switch it up with Jahmyr Gibbs and actually start messing with their head a little bit. Mm-hmm. You got the smash and dash, as it's classically called. It's not longer peanut butter. It's Sonic and Knuckles as we have it branded here in Detroit. That's what David Montgomery is. You have your knuckles back. But if I'm being honest with you, Spenny, I kind of opened this conversation to the chat, Kool-Aid, Chris, you as well. I still kind of want Gibbs to get more touches. And I fully understand establishing and setting the tone. I 100% agree. But just seeing what he's been able to do these past 2 weeks, you see him win the Offensive Player of the Month for the NFC. It was like 6 total rushing touchdowns and 3 more receiving. Like, he's been on fire, and I just think we should continue that. I still want Monty to get his. I just want it to be in Monty situations, right? Short yardage. Situation where he is the hammer and making the defense a nail. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Anything within 5 yards, give the ball to Monty. But anything outside of that, I kind of want Jahmyr Gibbs in the game.
Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get his. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be used how he's been used. But now you have David Montgomery back. Mm-hmm. And remember, this team is undefeated when Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery both score touchdowns.
There's value there, too. I think you want to look back to that Chicago Bears game. It took, 4 tries to finally get in that 1 yard?
Yes.
And God bless Jahmyr Gibbs. He's still a dog, and he'll still put his shoulder down, too. That's Monty. That's the first drive?
4th and 1 against the Vikings. You throw that to J-Mo, or do you give it to David Montgomery if he's in the game?
Probably give it to David Montgomery.
You probably give it to David Montgomery. Like, the guy has his role. He is a tone setter. He is the hammer. And that was specifically what I took from that, is when he said tone setter. And how do you set the tone? You set the tone in the first drive of the game. And what has David Montgomery done all year? He's gotten that first drive of the game. So I expect him to get that first drive again, and I expect him to punish some people out there.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe just for his bearings, Like his first taste of blood, let him get that first drive.
Yeah.
He's for sure waiting for it. We talk about how they crafted this team. Those guys that want that ball, want that blood.
And honestly, when you look at it, both of those guys, obviously they both ball out. But I like what he's been more versatile this season as well. So it's not like you're losing a whole lot when it is David Montgomery, because he's caught the ball, I think, probably the best in his career this year with the Lions.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. But
most yards per reception this year for him.
But what I do like is this. Being able to keep Jahmyr Gibbs as fresh as possible. I think when you get a David Montgomery back, it allows him to be able to go out there and still pick up the 4 or 5 yards to carry, do all the nitty-gritty stuff, wear down a defensive line, and then give Jahmyr Gibbs just that much more opportunity, much more fresh against a worn-down defensive line to go and pop one. I think it's the perfect setup when you have them both there. I know what you're saying, Easy, because it's tantalizing. Seeing a lot more of Jahmyr Gibbs was like, wow, this guy can definitely do everything. He looked like a guy that can get 200 yards a game easily. But when you talk about going out there and controlling that tempo and setting a tone, that's why I do believe David Montgomery is still that guy.
Yeah.
And then it allows Jahmyr to, in that second half, be as fresh as possible and go ahead.
And shout out to Byrne in the Woodward Sports Chat with the super chat. He says,
Shout out.
if Monty intends to run until his knee falls off for Spenny, Monty is willing to open the 8th gate like he's about to fight Amon-Ra. And that is for sure. Like, know he's ready to go. The red blur, David Montgomery. But
was that a movie, video game reference?
it's from Naruto.
Ah.
Mike Guy, shout out the GOAT. Those who know. Mike Guy is the GOAT.
Shout to Burn.
Shout out to Byrne. Chris, how do you feel about Montgomery's return?
I think I'm kind of in between where you guys are at with it. Like, I'm looking at this as Monty will be a focal point in the first drive, but I think it will be kind of led by Gibbs, and then they will let Monty punch it in. I do think there will be you'll start to see that split happen very, very consistently. I don't think you're going to see like 50-50 right off the bat. I don't think you're going to see a full Monty drive the first drive. I could be wrong there, but you're absolutely right in terms of the impact that it brings. You know, the just this different style that it brings. Because how many times were those possessions with Gibbs just so quick, and it felt like
I said that last week.
Yeah, it felt
People
like
said I hate touchdowns.
Yeah, I know, and it's like no, you could do both. You can bleed the clock and run up the score. You could do both things. That's what great offenses do, and that's what the Lions have been able to do. They've been able to score in bunches when they need to, but they've also been able to bleed the clock and slowly kill you, like that Dan Campbell quote that we always bring up about bringing them out to the water and slowly drowning them. So I'm excited. I think Monty will have a big game. I think he will be relatively his version. I like to play the 100% game of like where he's at health wise, and I feel like he's gonna be anywhere in the 80s. Like, I feel like he's going to be pretty damn healthy. I don't think he's going to be that hindered. I don't think you're going to see a lot of a misstep of him.
Angel. Shout out Hinder. But a lot of these guys, we talk about it, the Dan Campbell guy, the Detroit Lions guy, the guy they're looking for in the attitude they bring and who they are as a player. Obviously, a lot of these guys are cut from the same cloth. I think David Montgomery is cut from the same cloth as Alex Anzalone, both for what they do as players, how they help this team, who they are in this team respectively, and the attitude that they play with. And I think we're going to see what happened with Anzalone in his first game back happen the same thing with David Montgomery in his first game back. Because there's going to be like, oh, we don't want to give him this full drive, or oh, we don't want to give him this lion's share, not even lion's share, but this big share of touches. And then you go out there the first drive, and he's busting off 8 yards of carry, and you're like, well, fuck, we got to keep giving him the ball. And he's just playing too well, because this game is made for David Montgomery to fucking eat. Eat. Like, we talk about how bad their run defense is.
Feed him.
This game is, I think we're going to see, like, and Dan Campbell said it himself, they didn't want to play Anzalone as much as they did in that first game back against the Vikings. But he was playing so damn well, he forced them to keep him on the field. I think we're going to see the same thing out of David Montgomery. They're not going to want to maybe give him that whole first drive, maybe ease into it, but they're going to give him 3 carries, and he's going to have 30 yards in 3 carries. And they're going to be like, well, maybe we should keep giving him the ball. And at the end of the day, you're going to look, and it's going to be David Montgomery with a very similar touch share to Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I think I don't want people to forget, and I'm definitely not forgotten of like the type of year he was having, the type of things he was saying coming into this year. And it's the point where he's put himself on a national pedestal, right? Multiple angry run scepters where he's a highlight of the tape. He's the bell of the ball. It's the point, and it's kind of cool for me as a Lions fan. Like, as a national point where like people are getting trucked, like, oh, I was like David. I think it was Connor Bedard. All right, a Chicago like rival jokingly said, like, if he were a football player, he'd be like Dave Montgomery on skates. And it's like, because he knows, he brings it. And fuck Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks. But either way, that's like the style of ball he was playing this year. It was brand football. You see somebody get trucked, like, damn, he just David Montgomery to him. Like, it was like that type of year he was having. I'm not forgotten of that at all, and he's going to bring that in short yard situations. I still want to see Gibby out there too. That's all I'm saying.
Gibby's he's gonna be out there. They're not gonna forget about Jahmyr Gibbs. Like I think this is it's fine. Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna get the ball. He's gonna be very effective, as is David Montgomery.
And the thing with David Montgomery, like truck sticks, is that those things go for yards.
Yes.
Like, do we know where Witherspoon is?
And they hype everybody up.
Us?
And it gasses everybody up. It makes the offensive line want to go out there and put some people in the dirt on the next play. It makes the defense want to get back out on the field and start hitting people.
Do we remember that game against Devin Witherspoon in the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah.
Do we remember that game? Like,
He got
I remember
dribbled on the ground
energy.
like a basketball.
That's one of my favorite plays.
He
of all
really
time.
did. He bounced right back up. I'm like, damn, dude. How hard did you get hit that you literally bounced back off the ground?
Yeah.
It was very impressive. I guess the way I want David is like outside of the first drive, because I do want that first drive to go to Monty.
Yeah.
Again, that first draw of blood. Punch him right in the fucking mouth. We just talked about the style of run that he plays. Give me that for sure, that first drive. But short yard situations, Monty. Long yard situations, long down situations, Gibbs. Running outside, Gibbs. Run inside, Monty. Like, just give them in their spots. You know what
Like
I'm saying?
they've done all year. Like, are you
No,
worried about it?
all year's been splits. No, I just want more more Jahmyr.
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing what they've done all year. It's going to be an offensive dominant performance by the Detroit Lions.
You think he's healthy enough to do what he's done all year?
I think they're going to, like I said, he's going to force their hand. Because he's going to be out there, he's going to be balling. Maybe not 100% with it, but just because David Montgomery's getting carries doesn't mean they're just going to forget about Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think
he's going to get his too.
Yeah, I think in the spots he'll get his the way he's been delivering. I don't know what to expect in terms of like split or effectiveness.
I would say 60-40.
I think in the passing, catching the ball, which has been phenomenal. Kool-Aid was talking about it, and I told you he's averaging the most yards per reception in his career. I think he's just as effective there because he'll be already in motion with the ball running. We saw it when he went out, as you said, to return back. He wasn't effective running the ball. He was effective catching the ball.
Yeah.
I think you'll see him there. I don't know. I guess we got to see it first, but I definitely think he's going to bring something. I'm not discounting him or just shortchange him at all.
I think it's the play action. I think that's what gets people. When you have David Montgomery back there, I think that's the best play action sell that the Lions can run. Because everybody believes David Montgomery is going to run the ball. And then all of a sudden they pass it to him because the Witherspoon one, that was off of a play action.
Yeah, that was a catch.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden it's David Montgomery versus any linebacker. Run a linebacker. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just picking David Montgomery.
Either of these guys. You get either of these guys in one-on-ones. And we talked to Dion about it, and like Dion said, like that Minnesota game was made for David Montgomery too because of the undersized linebackers that Minnesota has. This is another game that's made for David Montgomery because of how bad they are at stopping the run. Like we are going to move people in these trenches, and they're going to come out playing hard. You know, Bobby Wagner, Super Bowl champion, he knows what he's doing. He's going to bring a tone to set, but the Lions, they've been waiting. Like Easy said, they've been chomping at the bit. They've been hungry. They haven't played football in a week. These guys are mad. They want to go out there and they want to hit people. They want to go out there and they want to establish. They want to get this over with and win the Super Bowl. So I expect them to come out, all systems go, firing like a well-oiled machine, and to make some quick work of this Commanders team.
I'm with that. I'm with that 100%. I think that's going to be the key is the physicality of this game. I think that's going to set the tone, and I really think that you're right. This is a team that just they don't like taking weeks off. They're probably happy their bye week was in week 5. They're probably like, great, 12 weeks of football straight. Sign me up. Yeah. I think they're ready and they're up for the challenge. And I've said this before with the Dan Campbell team. You're just never going to be unprepared or not ready for the moment. Yeah. That's just not a thing. So I've heard the narrative of people saying, well, you know, the Lions might be a little rusty coming off. No. If you step in the electricity that Ford Field building will have, you are not going to be short of energy, of desire, of passion to play the game of football. So I'm excited for these guys to play it. I'm excited to see how this will play out.